Incredibly dramatic win for Italy, but obviously a major upset for England, who was hosting the final. And now there's another shadow hanging over this because the three English players who missed the penalty shots have been targeted by a torrent of racist abuse. Redmond Shannon joins us now from London with that and really overall the mood going on there. But let's begin with that, Redmond. What is the mood in England this morning?
Good morning, Anthony. Yeah, well, obviously one of the main elements of the mood here is disappointment. There was such excitement in England ahead of this final, England's first final in a major men's tournament in 55 years. Hopes were so high, but it wasn't to be. Italy came out on top, as you say, and those sentiments of disappointment today in England are mixed with anger at the targeting of the three English players, one of them as young as 19, Bukayo Saka from London. He missed the last penalty kick to give Italy the title, and he and the other two, Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho, have all been targeted online with racist abuse. The coach this morning, Gareth Southgate, called it unforgivable. Prince William, who's president of the Football Association here, said he's sickened by the racist abuse and says it must stop now and those involved must be held accountable. Prime Minister Boris Johnson also tweeted saying this England team deserve to be lauded as heroes, not racially abused on social media. Those responsible for this appalling abuse should be ashamed of themselves. Now, despite that, earlier in the tournament, we saw, and throughout the tournament, the English players take a knee for racial justice and racial equality just before every kickoff. And on every occasion, England fans booed their own players. And Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his Interior Minister, Priti Patel, here, the Home Secretary, both were asked if that should be condemned. They both refused to condemn the booing of England players by their own fans for taking a knee. And many today are pointing that out and saying that perhaps encouraged the racism that we see online today, the ongoing racism. Take a listen to the former England player Gary Neville and his take on this.
There is an issue, obviously, in football. There is an issue in society where we feel it's acceptable, basically, to criticise players for sporting actions because of the colour of their skin. But I have to say, accepting and validating that players who take the knee, like I was saying, we're promoting equality, inclusion, and defending against racism, is coming from the very top. And that, you know full well that if your parents do something, your children will follow.
The other issue, Anthony, that people are talking about today is the storming of the stadium yesterday by many unticketed fans, basically rushing the turnstiles. I was at Wembley. People were drunk from early on in the day. The game didn't start till 8 p.m. The scenes there were pretty disturbing. Many fans did get access to the stadium and were taking seats taken by ticketed fans. A big worry for the English Football Association as it tries to bid for the 2030 World Cup.
Yeah, and it gets a little frightening with that amount of people, and you don't know how it's going to turn out. We all, of course, know that English fans are passionate. The passion obviously has a negative side as well. But we can't overshadow the win by Italy, and this was really an incredible win given the circumstances of this, and really a story of redemption, isn't it, for this country?
Yeah, in many ways, Anthony. First of all, Italy, of course, four-time World Cup winners. This is their second European title. But in 2018, the most recent tournament, the most recent World Cup, Italy didn't even qualify, which is unthinkable for Italy. So they were down in the depths and now they're at the top. And given the pandemic and how it affected Italy, perhaps more than any other European country, at least in the earlier part of the pandemic, this is greeted with such joy on the streets of Italy. Very similar scenes to Montreal and Toronto you'll see right across the world with Italian communities, and particularly in Italy. So definitely something to smile about for Italians all around the world.
Yeah, hard-fought tournament, hard-fought win, no question about it. Redmond, thank you so much for this. Redmond Shannon joining us from London.